to the show, everybody. With the bank holiday fast approaching, we've got a programme today packed with some great barbecue ideas for you. Now, Elky, how are you and what have you been up to?
I'm really good, as usual, thanks, mate. It was my wife's birthday a couple of weeks ago, on the 7th, so we had a few beers on the Friday, then we had a few more on the Saturday, and we had a few more on the Sunday. Then I realised on Monday that I just can't do that anymore, and I had a bit of a hangover. I don't normally suffer from hangovers, but safe to say I had a bit of a 2 or 3 day hangover for that one. But now I've been back cooking, did some lovely Greek-inspired chicken skewers a little while back, and did some buttered chicken as well, which was a right treat. What about you, mate?
They both sound amazing. We had a lovely roast chicken last weekend, but to be honest, the weather's been so poor over the last week, we haven't done much barbecuing. But last Sunday, we went to Crystal Palace Park and we discovered this amazing street food market with lots of great meals to try. And we ended up going for pulled chicken from Ren Tang Thank You Man, which is absolutely delicious. And I thoroughly recommend the market to anybody who's in the local area. Now, let's take a look at what's coming up in today's show.
Coming up, Elky shows us how to perfectly cook a pepper-crusted rump joint on his Kamado Joe Classic 3. Neal creates some tasty teriyaki beef and mushroom skewers and puts his own twist on the 1980s classic coq au vin. We travel to Wichita in Kansas to meet our special guest, Chef Tom Jackson from All Things BBQ. And we take a look at what you, the barbecue community, have been up to in What's Cooking. Welcome to From the Shack.
We've got a lot coming up in the show today. Now, we love looking at all your photographs on Instagram. Your barbecue cooks at the moment are absolutely amazing. And please keep sending them to us at #FromTheShack because we'd love to show them on the show. We also know that you guys have been buying lots of barbecue kit recently. Now, Elky, have you got any new toys?
No new toys, mate. I haven't got any room for any new toys. I mean, you've seen how many toys I've got here. In fact, I've actually had to get rid of a couple, sadly, over the last couple of weeks. But maybe I'm making room for something else. Maybe I'm not. Now, it sounds to me like you've got a new toy that you want to tell us about.
I have. I love a bit of upcycling. And last week I bought myself a lovely washing machine drum fire pit, which I'm hoping to use at the weekend. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, Elky, let's have a look at what you've been cooking.
Today, we're going to be doing pepper-crusted rump roast. So I'm going to do a nice simple roast joint today. I've got this beautiful rump roast from Philip Warren Butchers that's been dry brining for 2 days. And what I mean by dry brine is we've put some salt all over the beef and left it uncovered in the fridge. This has been there for about 48 hours, 24 hours is fine. I just got lazy yesterday and didn't get around to cooking it. So there's my rump roast. We're going to start by sticking a bit of mustard on there. Then we're going to get a mix of peppercorns and different spices on there. Going to be cooking it today on the Kamado Joe Classic 3. I've got a slow roller in place, got some cherry smoke in there, and we're running it at about 150 Celsius, which is 300 Fahrenheit. So let's crack on and prepare this beef. So the first thing we want to do is get some mustard on there. That's just going to help the rub that we create to stick to the beef. So we don't have to go too nuts with this. We're just going to spoon some of that on there and then just use your hand and just rub it all over. We want to get it on the fat and on the meat as well. Right, for our rub, we've got ourselves a pestle and mortar here, and we're going to start by going in with some black peppercorns. We're going to go in with about 2 tablespoons of these. Beef absolutely loves pepper, so don't be shy. I've also got this jungle pepper. Now don't worry if you haven't got this, just use a bit more of the black peppercorns, but this jungle pepper adds a nice little kick to it. So we're going to go in with about 2 teaspoons of the jungle pepper, and then to that we're going to add a couple of teaspoons of coriander seeds, a couple of teaspoons of cumin seeds, a couple of teaspoons of paprika. You can use smoked or sweet. I've got smoked here, so we're going to go in with a couple of teaspoons of that, and about a teaspoon of garlic granules. And of course we're going to stick some salt in there, so again probably about a teaspoon of salt. And all we're going to do is take our pestle and mortar, and we're just going to smash that down into not a fine powder, but into a nice kind of coarse rub that we're going to stick onto the beef. So this is going to smoke away until it hits an internal temperature of about 52, 53 degrees, and then we take it off to rest. I'm going to put a cast iron pan underneath this with some rapeseed oil in. That's going to catch any fat dripping off of this, and it's also going to get the oil nice and hot, ready for our roast potatoes as well. So let's get this in. I'm going to use the Thermopen smoke to monitor the temperature. Let's crack on. And there we go, there's my roast rump joint. As you've seen, I've taken it off at 52 degrees internal temperature. It will continue to rise as it rests, so this has been resting for about 25 minutes now. The potatoes are nice and crispy. They're going to be lovely and soft inside. It smells great. I cannot wait to dig in. So let's get the string off of this roast joint, and then we'll have a slice in and see exactly how we've done, but this smells absolutely incredible. Just incredible. That crust with all that pepper, the coriander seeds, the cumin seeds, you've got a jungle pepper on there as well. It just gives it a little bit of punch. Lovely peppery kick, and pepper goes so well with beef. So honestly guys, if you can try that rub, get some mustard on some beef, get that rub on the beef, it's an absolute game changer. You've got a hint of that cherry smoke coming through as well. This beef is lovely, soft and tender. That is a real winner. So as usual, I'm going to slice this up, go inside, get a load of gravy on it, get it on a plate and get it inside me. I'm Smoking Out, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.
That beef looked absolutely stunning, Elky. Now, you've been pretty busy over the last month or so. You've made a mini-series of masterclass videos for Planet Eat TV. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I did, thanks. Yeah, I've been very busy. Yeah, the masterclass was based on my Around the World Outdoor Cook Challenge, where I cooked a dish from every country in the world all over fire. So this was 6 of my favourite dishes from that challenge. It's all up on Planet Eat TV. So guys, if you want to show some support, show some love, you can sign up to a free trial, I believe, so you can watch it on your free trial. So go ahead, go and check it out, show me some love. Now, talking of publicity, our show from the shack actually featured in the barbecue magazine, the UK barbecue magazine that Marcus Bawdon does. So we've got a lovely little feature in there, so check that out as well. Now, Neil, let's take a look at what you've been cooking, mate.
Coq au vin is a French classic. It's a chicken stew made with red wine, vegetables, herbs, brandy and garlic. It's the sort of dish my parents used to cook for dinner parties when I was a kid. I haven't eaten it in ages, so I thought I'd give it a bit of a barbecue twist and create it on my Kamado Joe Classic too.
This recipe isn't for the coq au vin purist, but it's going to be good. Here are the ingredients.
I'm using 1 kilo of skinless chicken thighs, 250 grams of smoked bacon lardons, 300 grams of shallots, 2 teaspoons of tomato puree, 350 grams of chestnut mushrooms, 4 cloves of garlic, salt and pepper, 3 medium-sized carrots and 2 celery sticks. To thicken the sauce, I've got 2 tablespoons of plain flour, a little soft butter and olive oil. Additionally, for the sauce, which will be delicious, I've got 600 millilitres of red wine, 3 tablespoons of brandy and 250 millilitres of chicken stock. For extra flavour, I'm adding 3 bay leaves, rosemary, sprigs of thyme and flat leaf parsley for garnishing.
I set my Kamado Joe up for direct grilling and brown the chicken thighs for around about 6 minutes before putting them to one side.
I replaced the grill grates with the accessory rack to hold my Dutch oven. I added a little oil and fried the smoked bacon lardons until they were nice and crispy. I remove them and brown the sliced shallots for about 5 minutes and then remove them too. Next, I fried the carrots and celery. It was at this stage that the weather turned against me, with short bursts of rain, sunshine, windy gusts and more rain. Next, I added the garlic and brandy to the carrots and celery and stirred for around 30 seconds before I added the chicken, shallots, wine and tomato puree and let it simmer for around 35 minutes. While the ingredients were cooking, I made a thickener, which would help to thicken the sauce, and it consisted of flour, olive oil and butter. Using the back of a spoon, I squished the mixture until it made a dry sort of crumbly paste. With the weather still against me, I brought the pot into the house to thicken the sauce. First I removed the chicken thighs and vegetables from the pot and added the thickener in stages to the liquid, whisking till it dissolved.
I put the chicken and the vegetables back into the pot and then popped outside to fry the mushrooms on the barbecue.
Finally, I placed the Dutch oven back on the barbecue to simmer for around 10 minutes, adding the cooked mushrooms and lardons. This coq au vin is delicious, rich and brimming with flavour. We served it with mashed potato and green beans. It's definitely a dish that I'll be doing again very soon. Now this week's quick dish has a Japanese feel to it. One day I would love to visit Tokyo. It's a city that fascinates me. The hustle and bustle and 24-hour lifestyle is something I want to check out. So too is the sushi. I've had it in the UK a few times but love to experience it in Japan. This year I really want to find out more about Japanese barbecue and yakitori, which translates as grilled chicken and is a term that is commonly used to describe Japanese small skewers of bite-sized pieces of pork, chicken, beef or fish. Today, I'm going to cook teriyaki beef and mushroom skewers on my Joy stove. I found this recipe in Marcus Bawdon's brilliant Food and Fire book. Only 3 ingredients are needed. Steak, I went for Aberdeen Angus sirloin steaks, mushrooms and a teriyaki marinade which I bought from my local supermarket. Cut the steaks and mushrooms into thick slices and push onto double pronged skewers to stop any pieces from sliding around and brush with the teriyaki sauce. The Joy stove is ideal for this cook. I place the skewers directly above the charcoal, cook them on either side for 3 minutes whilst brushing with additional teriyaki sauce. After letting the skewers rest for a few minutes, I serve the steak and mushrooms with flatbreads, lettuce and tomatoes. Quick, easy and delicious.
If you're thinking about upping your barbecue game this summer, why not get in touch with Barbecue Barn? Their shops in Sidcup and Leigh-on-Sea are open from Monday through to Saturday, or check out their website.
Getting an understanding of yakitori cooking is something that I really want to do this year. Now, Elky, have you ever given it a go?
I've kind of dabbled here and there. I've actually just invested in a load of Japanese ingredients because I've been getting stuck into a couple of Japanese style books. And it's something that kind of looks simple on the surface, but when you actually get down into it, it's actually really complex. It looks like it will take an absolute lifetime to master.
I think you're right there, Elky. Now, would you like to introduce our special guest?
Yeah, so our special guest is a chef that's on top of his game. He's from Kansas. It's Chef Tom from All Things BBQ.
Tom, welcome to the show. I think in the UK, everybody knows you from the All Things BBQ YouTube channel. Can you tell us a bit about the business?
Yeah, certainly. Thank you guys so much for having me. All Things BBQ is a retail store in Wichita, Kansas. We've got a pretty big place here. We sell a lot of barbecue equipment, grills. We've got all of the sauces and all of the rubs you could think of. And then we even do outdoor kitchens and outdoor furniture. So it's kind of an outdoor living mega center.
And the channel for All Things BBQ, obviously you've got the store there. Did the channel kind of come pretty shortly after the store, or was it kind of, when it went hand in hand? How long have you had the All Things BBQ channel? Because it's massive, isn't it? I think it's got, is it around 500,000 subscribers?
We're creeping up on 500,000. We're a little under that now, but that's been building over the last 6 years or so. All Things BBQ is probably right around 11 years it's been in business now. So it didn't come right off the bat, but I've been here for 7 years now. they brought me in to teach cooking classes. And that was my main job when I first got here. And we decided we should do some recipe videos that kind of showcase the products that we sell in the store, while at the same time educating people on how to utilize those grills and those sauces that they're buying from us.
You do a fantastic job of it. Now, we've had some stars on the show. We've had Jess Piles talk about Texas barbecue. We've had Malcolm Reed talk about Mississippi. Give us a little insight into Kansas barbecue.
You know, we're just a couple hours south of Kansas City, and that's kind of a big, you know, one of the big regional barbecues of America, known for some of its sweet and saucy barbecue as far as chicken and ribs go, and certainly known for burn-ins and brisket. So that's kind of what I've come to know for the region, sort of that rounded out that barbecue of brisket, of chicken, of pork ribs, that kind of thing. I
know each region are kind of protective of their own style of barbecue, aren't they? I mean, is that the same where you are?
I'm sure that people are like that, but a lot of the people that I interact with are fairly open-minded, and I like to think the same thing of myself. We're just here to learn as much as we can about as many different types of outdoor cooking, barbecue, grilling, whatever it is. Certainly, I like the barbecue of our region, but that's not to say I couldn't enjoy the barbecue of another region just as much.
It sounds to me like that's how it is in the UK. I mean, you know, obviously, one of the first things that you kind of get into when you start barbecuing seriously in the UK is American barbecue. Everybody wants to do a brisket. Everybody wants to do ribs. Everybody wants to do pulled pork. But then soon, you know, you kind of move on from that and you start putting your own kind of slant on things. And now there's just kind of one big melting pot of barbecue from different cultures, you know, all being done in England. And it's great to see.
I love smoked meats. I'm certainly heavily influenced by Latin food and Mexican food. I love that kind of stuff. You know, that's why you see so many tacos and everything else on our channel. That's one of my favorite types of barbecue. So I'm always looking to learn. I would hate to come to any situation where I felt like I was the absolute authority on anything, because that would tell me that I'm just done learning, and I'm not down for that.
I did a bit of research. I went online, went onto Google to find the best barbecue restaurants in Wichita, and the top 3 searches came out with Bite Me Barbecue, B&C Barbecue, and Pig In, Pig Out. Now, I know the restaurants are shut at the moment, but hopefully they will open soon. Which of those are your favorite?
We don't eat a lot of barbecue out here. We do a lot of barbecue in. And I think that that's pretty common. The more people I talk to, they have their favorite barbecue restaurants. And in Wichita, there are a couple places doing a good job. B&C is one of them that I've known about for a long time. But for the most part, it's a lot of people want to cook their own barbecue. And I say that as my hometown, but when I want to travel somewhere, I'm looking for a place. So in Kansas City, it's Q39 is one of my favorites because they're not strictly traditional, but have traditional roots and creative foods. And that's just a 2.5 hour drive from where I live. So it's always fun to pick somewhere out in a place that you're not familiar with.
Tom, you're spoiled for choice out there. I mean, we don't have many barbecue restaurants here, full stop. So to be able to just kind of go anywhere and eat fantastic barbecue, I'm pretty jealous.
We're blessed in that way, for sure.
Going back to your YouTube channel, you recently created a smoked Texas brisket burger. It looked absolutely fantastic. Can you talk us through the process and how that came about?
The name implies its inspiration, and that is the big whole Packer briskets that are smoked in Texas with salt and pepper, smoked over oak wood in an offset pit. But really what I wanted to do is create a cheeseburger out of those ingredients. So we took an entire brisket and ground it down into burger meat, and then formed these big patties that we then smoked on the offset to just soak up all of that oak wood smoke. And we finished that one right with a direct sear in the firebox on a griddle or plancha, just for that super high heat sear. I mean, right on top of the oak wood. And it was a really fun video to shoot, to do that reverse sear technique on a burger made from fantastic brisket. And then, we made a couple other things to go along with it, including that cowboy coffee bacon jam. That
sounds epic. I mean, it's just gone 6 p.m. or I haven't eaten yet, and you've got me celebrating now. That sounds immense. Now, in the UK, there's a lot of interest in the not over here yet, but there's a lot of interest in the Kamado Joe Kettle Joe. I believe you've had a play on one. What's your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a fan of it for sure. It definitely is a kind of a crossover from the classic kettles that we know, like the Weber kettles, and then the Kamado Joe world with that ceramic firebox that they put inside of the bottom of the kettle Joe. So certainly as far as heat goes, it's going to hold its heat a lot better because of those ceramic plates. I found that it does not take much charcoal to get to smoking temperatures on that because of that reason. But yeah, I've been having fun. I smoked a leg of lamb on there. That video will be out before too long. And then I've done some high heat grilling, and just the versatility of it with that slow roller in the middle that you can take out or put back in and then adjust the lid height. That's some pretty cool stuff. And especially for, people that are looking to get into something new at that price point. I mean, here in the States, it's around $500. That's pretty accessible.
It sounds great, and it's getting a lot of interest over here. It's not here yet. It's soon to be here, I think, within the next month. But yeah, people are getting excited about it. And from what you say, it's going to be maybe a bit of a game changer for that kind of mid-market barbecue.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a pretty cool little grill.
Tom, I think you cooked some butterflied pork chops on the kettle, Joe. Can you tell us about that cook?
So that was a pretty simple, straightforward kind of steakhouse style pork chop where we cut the chops double thick and butterflied them open. And again, we use that reverse sear technique just to kind of showcase the versatility of that kettle grill, where you can go low and slow, get some smoke on it, and then crank that thing up for a really good sear. I've discovered that with that new grill, there's actually 3 levels of cooking. There's one above the slow roller. And if you take the slow roller off, there's one at the level of the lid, and you can actually go one lower so you can get super close to the coals. So that was kind of the idea on that, was, again, utilize getting some smoke into the food and then getting a nice texture and sear on the outside.
It sounds good, and I'm looking forward to having a play with one. Now, you obviously also use the Kamado Joes. You've done a cook on the Kamado Joe Classic 3. I think you did a kind of Carolina pulled pork video, and it's got nearly 500,000 views. Talk us through that one.
But what I know about Carolina pork is that there's not much that goes on with it except for smoke until the end when you've got that vinegar-based sauce. And it's a different style of pork than what I've grown up with here in the Midwest of America. But, man, it's tasty stuff. I think as I've grown and explored more flavors, I've really come to appreciate that Carolina style.
We do pulled pork over here. We love it. We see Americans doing pulled pork, and I think that's what gets people into barbecue a lot of the time. It got me into barbecue, is watching all the American shows where they're doing pulled pork and brisket. And yeah, I think when you first taste properly cooked pulled pork, it's it's delicious. And I can only imagine what it's like over there, from the sauce and doing it actual Carolina style. But yeah, unreal.
Well, I tell you, I haven't been over to the UK at all. I look forward to coming over there at some point. Last year we talked about getting out there into the Netherlands for a barbecue festival, and then COVID kind of shut everything down. But I have been down to Australia, and even down there where they've been cooking American style barbecue. They're doing a fantastic job with it, and you can eat great barbecue anywhere in the world. So I'm sure that you guys are making fantastic food as well.
We're getting there.
Now, Tom, the All Things BBQ cooking school has helped over 1,000 aspiring chefs. Can you tell us about the sort of classes you run?
Yeah, so those change all the time. I would say the only handful of classes that always repeat are your big barbecue meets. So when we were active in doing these classes, which have been shut down for a while now until we can gather again, the brisket class happened every other month, no matter what, and it sold out a month in advance. We could typically fit 45-ish people in our class, and we'd spend 3 hours talking through the entire process of cooking a brisket. Of course, we got here nice and early in the morning so that by the end of class, our students could taste the brisket that they'd been working on, but everyone would pick up a knife and trim a brisket at their table, which is a lot of fun. But our classes range. I mean, every month they change. Every Friday night class would be a wine paired dinner, kind of a little bit more high class, a date night kind of thing. And then the Saturday classes were all about barbecue. And that could be Mexican barbecue. It could be American barbecue. It could be pub fare. Any kind of ideas that we could come up with. We're always exploring new ideas.
Tom, when you get time off from the business, what do you like to barbecue at home?
I cook at home a lot. I'm certainly the primary cook at home, just like I am at work. But as far as slowing down and barbecuing, it doesn't happen as often at home as it does at work. My personal favorite, like if I'm just trying to feed the family and do something special, it's probably beef short ribs. That's probably my, like, for me, a personal favorite. But realistically, we're grilling chicken most nights of the week.
Outside of barbecue then, how do you like to kind of let your hair down? Do you enjoy sports? Is there a favourite? I think I see that you're a big soccer fan.
Yes, I'm a soccer fan. The Portland Timbers are my team here in the States. I lived out in Portland, Oregon, went to culinary school out there. Was not a soccer fan when I moved out, but became friends with someone who brought me to a soccer match out there. And I'd never been to a sporting event like it. And it changed my mind about the sport as a whole.
Obviously, you call it soccer, we call it football. We know it's called football. But in England, we're a bit football mad. But I'm going to embarrass myself a little bit here because I'm a Portsmouth fan. And I'm going to ask you, have you ever heard of Portsmouth Football Club?
Nope.
See, I knew it. I told you I was going to embarrass myself. Is there an English football team you follow?
I don't follow a team. My brother, he's an Arsenal fan, so I'll keep up with that a little bit.
Keep an eye out for Portsmouth Football Club. We're going places.
Now, Tom, the Kansas City Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl this year, and you made an amazing Super Bowl snack, some barbecue sushi rolls. Can you tell us about them?
Yeah, the barbecue sushi rolls, those were fun. And that was meant to be a recipe that people could have fun with the idea of it and eating it. Sometimes we get so caught up in technique and doing things just right. And it's nice to just get a bit whimsical with the food sometime. I even mentioned this in the video, but when it's been a long weekend of cooking classes or something, the last thing I want to go home and eat is barbecue. It's usually sushi that we have after a long weekend of barbecue. So it was kind of two worlds colliding there as far as the sushi and the barbecue go. But that was really fun smoking. We smoked up that pork butt, shredded it up, and then essentially put it into a sushi roll.
You've cooked on a lot of barbecues, a lot of grills. Sorry, you call them grills over there. We call them barbecues over here. You've cooked on a lot of grills, and it's a tough question, I know, but what's your favourite?
What's my favorite, or what do I cook on the most? The Yoder pellet grill is the one that gets the most attention from me. It's the easiest to use most often. And I say that because I can fire it up and I can be cooking dinner relatively quick, like you would with a gas grill, but you get the benefits of the wood fired smoke and that kind of thing. But if I'm just talking about, if I've got all the time in the world and I don't have anything else to do, I probably prefer to cook on an offset smoker, like the loaded Witchita that you'll see. And I like the one that I did the Texas brisket burgers on. I love to kick back and just throw a log on every 45 minutes. As far as just the experience goes, I'd prefer to smoke on an offset smoker.
Tom, last question. What plans have you got for Chef Tom this year?
It's hard to say because things are changing so quickly. I've been able to get vaccinated now. I'm fully vaccinated, which makes me feel a little bit safer about traveling, especially as that becomes a more common thing. I'm looking forward to actually cooking with people. Eric Gephardt did call me up this week, and he's got an adventure in mind for us a few weeks from now. So we might be headed out into the ocean. We'll see. Doing a little bit of traveling, but nothing big planned. We'll see how things unfold as the world starts to open up again.
Tom, thank you for being a fantastic guest on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. You've been fantastic.
A big thank you to Tom. Now, Elky, I think Tom's got the best job in the world.
Oh, it's certainly up there, isn't it? I mean, cooking barbecue and filming it for a living, get me involved. Now, I hope you've enjoyed our chat with Chef Tom. If you want to check out any of the other guest interviews that we've had, then head over to my YouTube channel where we've got a couple of playlists on there. One for the Lockdown Barbecue Show and one for From the Shack, where you'll find plenty of guest interviews and, of course, plenty of features. Now, it's time to see what you lot have been cooking.
Another great set of photographs. But Elky, which was your favourite?
Yeah, so I'm going to pick Meat Fire Whiskey this time because he's done a fantastic full English breakfast on the barbecue, and I love a breakfast on the barbecue. But not only that, he's done some lovely beef ribs that he's nailed, and it's all in the name of charity. I think he did it for Help for Heroes. So yeah, Meat Fire Whiskey. Now, guys, please continue to use the hashtag from the shack, and we will do our best to include your cooks on the show. Just keep them coming in.
Now, that's about it for this show. A big thank you to you guys for watching the programme, and a special thanks to our programme sponsor, Kamado Joe, and our feature sponsors, Thermapen, Philip Warren Butchers, and Barbecue Barn. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, and as always, guys, a huge thanks from me. Keep those fires burning, and we'll see you again soon.